From translation, NKJV New King James Version. This 84th day of the year. Today we are reading passages, Judges 19 to 21. Judges chapter 19, verses 1 to 30. It happened in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite dwelling in the remote mountains of Ephraim. He took a concubine for himself from Bethlehem in Judah, and his concubine played the harlot against him, and went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Judah, and she was there 4 months. Then her husband arose and went after her, to speak kindly to her and bring her back, having his servant with him and a donkey. So she brought her father into her father's house. And when the father of the young woman saw him, he was glad to meet him. Now his father-in-law, the young woman's father, kept him with him, and he stayed with him 3 days. So they ate and drank and lodged there. Then it happened on the 4th day that they arose early in the morning, and he prepared to go. But the father-in-law of the young woman said to him, "Please strengthen your heart, and stay until the day declines." So they stayed, ate, and drank both of them together. Then when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the young woman's father, said to him, "Look now, the day has drawn toward evening. Please spend the night. See, the day is coming to an end. Lodge here that your heart may be merry. Tomorrow go early on your way that you may get home." However, the man was not willing to stay that night, but he arose and departed and came to opposite Jabesh, that is, Jerusalem. With him were 2 saddled donkeys. His concubine also was with him. Now when he was near Jerusalem, his servant said to him, "Please come, and let us turn aside into this city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it." But he said to his servant, "We will not turn aside here into the city of foreigners who are not of the children of Israel. But we will pass by to Jibah." So he passed by Jibah toward the camp. He went on his way, but the travel was such that the day was nearly spent, and the servant said to his master, "Please, let us turn aside into this city of the Jebusites and lodge in it." But he said, "We will not go into the city of foreigners, who are not of the children of Israel. We will pass by to Jibah." So he went on toward Jibah and came to the mountain. He was traveling with 2 saddled donkeys. His concubine was with him, and his servant was with him. When he was near Jibah, there was a man coming out of the city from his work in the field. As he happened to be in the mountains of Ephraim, he met the Levite who was in his journey home in the mountains of Ephraim. When he saw him, he said to him, "Where are you going, and where do you come from?" So he said to him, "We are passing from Bethlehem in Judah toward the remote mountains of Ephraim. I am going to my house, but there is no one who takes me into his house. However, we have both straw and fodder for our donkeys, and bread and wine for myself, for your maidservant, and for the young man who is with your servant. There is no lack of anything." The man said, "I will give you lodging. Do not trouble your heart, but stay tonight, and your heart shall be merry. Early tomorrow you may go on your way." So he entered his dwelling and gave fodder to the donkeys, and they washed their feet, and ate and drank. Now when they were merry, the master of the house said to his young man, "Bring the concubine, that we may know her." But the man, his master's concubine, refused to come out. So the man seized her and brought her to the master of the house outside. Then they knew her and abused her all night until morning, and when the day began to break, they let her go. Then her master took a knife and laid hold of his concubine, and cut her into 12 pieces, limb by limb, and sent her throughout all the territory of Israel. So it was that all who saw it said, "Such a deed has not been done or been seen since the day that the children of Israel came up from the land of Egypt until this day. Consider it, take counsel, and speak." Then all the children of Israel came out, from Dan to Beersheba, as well as from the land of Gilead, and the congregation assembled as one man at the house of God. And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord. The ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And the children of Judah said, "Please tell us how this evil has come to pass." So the Levite, the husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, "I and my concubine came to Jibah, which belongs to Benjamin, to lodge. And the men of Jibah rose against me and surrounded the house at night because of me. They intended to kill me, and they abused my concubine so that she died. So I took hold of my concubine and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the territory of Israel's inheritance. For they have committed lewdness and outrage in Israel. Look, all of you are children of Israel. Now speak and give counsel." So all the people rose up as one man, saying, "None of us will go to his tent, nor will any turn back to his house." Judges chapter 20, verses 1 to 48. So all the children of Israel came out, from Dan to Beersheba, and from the land of Gilead, and the congregation assembled as one man at the house of God. And the chief men of all the people, all the tribes of Israel, presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 foot soldiers who drew the sword. Now the children of Benjamin heard that the children of Israel had gone up to Mizpah. And the children of Israel said, "Tell us, how did this wicked deed happen?" So the Levite, the husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, I and my concubine came to Gibeah in Benjamin to lodge. And the men of Gibeah rose against me and surrounded the house at night because of me. They intended to kill me and abused my concubine, so that she died. So I took hold of my concubine and cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the territory of Israel's inheritance, for they have committed lewdness and outrage in Israel. Look, all of you are children of Israel, give advice and counsel. So all the people arose as one man, saying, None of us will go to his tent, nor will any turn back to his house, but this is what we will do to Gibeah. We will go up against it by lot. We will take 10 men out of every 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 out of every 1,000, and 1,000 out of every 10,000, to make provisions for the people, that when they come to Gibeah of Benjamin, they may repay all the vengeance of blood. So all the men of Israel were gathered against the city, united together as one man. Then the tribes of Israel sent men by throughout all the tribes of Benjamin, saying, What is this wickedness that has occurred among you? Now therefore deliver the men, the perverted men of Gibeah, that we may put them to death and remove the evil from Israel. But the children of Benjamin would not listen to the voice of their brethren, the children of Israel. But the children of Benjamin gathered together from their cities to Gibeah, to go out to battle against the children of Israel. And from their cities at that time, the children of Benjamin mustered 26,000 swordsmen, besides the inhabitants of Gibeah, who mustered 700 chosen men. Among all these people were 700 chosen men who were left-handed. Everyone could sling a stone at a hairbreadth and not miss. Now the rest of Israel, besides Benjamin, numbered 400,000 men who drew the sword. All these were men of war. Then the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God to inquire of God. They said, Who shall go up for us first to battle against the children of Benjamin? The Lord said, Judah shall go up first. So the children of Israel rose in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. The children of Benjamin came out of Gibeah, and on that day cut down 22,000 men of Israel. And the people, the men of Israel, encouraged themselves and again set up the battle in the same place where they had been before. Then the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I again draw near for battle against the children of my brother Benjamin? And the Lord said, Go up against him. So the children of Israel approached the children of Benjamin on the second day. Benjamin went out against them from Gibeah on the second day, and cut down 18 more of the children of Israel. All these were men who drew the sword. Then all the children of Israel, the whole people, went up and came to the house of God and wept. They sat there before the Lord and fasted until evening, and they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. So the children of Israel inquired of the Lord. The ark of the covenant of God was there in those days, and Phinehas the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, stood before them, saying, Shall I yet again go out to battle against the children of my brother Benjamin, or shall I cease? And the Lord said, Go up, for tomorrow I will deliver them into your hand. Then Israel set men in ambush all around Gibeah. The children of Israel went up against the children of Benjamin on the third day, and set themselves in battle array against Gibeah, as at the other times. So the children of Benjamin went out against the people, and were drawn away from the city. They began to strike down and kill some of the people, as at the other times, in the highways, one of which goes up to Bethel and the other to Gibeah, and in the fields in the streets of the city. About 30 men of Israel fell. The children of Benjamin said, They are defeated before us, as at the first battle. But the children of Israel said, Let us flee and draw them away from the city to the highways. So all the men of Israel rose from their place and set themselves in battle array at Baal Tamar. Then Israel's ambushes burst forth from their places, even from Mare-Jebah. Now 10,000 select men from all Israel came against Gibeah, and the battle was fierce. But the children of Benjamin did not know that disaster was upon them. The Lord defeated Benjamin before Israel, and the children of Israel destroyed that day 25,100 men of Benjamin, all who drew the sword. So the children of Benjamin saw that they were defeated, for the men of Israel gave way to Benjamin, because they relied on the men in ambush whom they had set against Gibeah. The ambushes also rushed out from their city against them. The men of Israel, being arrayed against them in battle, so that the men of Benjamin were terrified, for they saw that disaster was upon them. The men of Israel turned in the battle, and Benjamin began to strike and kill about 30 men of Israel, for they said, Surely they are defeated before us, as in the first battle. But when the battle was now fierce, the men of Israel retreated before Benjamin, because they relied on the men in ambush whom they had set against Gibeah. However, the men in ambush burst forth suddenly at Gibeah, and the men of Israel also attacked from the city. The men of Israel were caught between the armies, some on one side and some on the other. And they said, Let all the men of Israel, both small and great, be put to death. Let Benjamin be destroyed. So the men of Israel turned, and the men of Benjamin were terrified, for they saw that disaster was upon them. And they turned before Israel toward the way of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them, and those who came out of the cities destroyed them in their midst. They surrounded the Benjamites, chased them, and easily trampled them down as far as the front of Gibeah toward the east. And 18,000 men of Benjamin fell. All these were men of valor. Then they turned and fled toward the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon, and they cut down 5,000 of them on the highways. Then they pursued them relentlessly until they reached Jidam, and killed 2,000 of them. So all who fell of Benjamin that day were 25,000 men who drew the sword. All these were men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled to the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon, and they stayed at the rock of Rimmon for 4 months. The men of Israel turned against the children of Benjamin, and they struck them down with the edge of the sword, from the city to the point, and also the beasts and all that they found. They set all the cities of Benjamin on fire. Judges chapter 21, verses 1 to 25. Now the men of Israel had sworn an oath at Mizpah, saying, "None of us shall give his daughter to Benjamin as a wife." Then the people came to the house of God, and remained there before God till evening. They lifted up their voices and wept bitterly, and said, "O Lord God of Israel, why has this come to pass in Israel, that today there should be one tribe lacking in Israel?" And it happened, when the people came to the camp on the next morning, that the people of Israel mourned, and said, "Who is there among all the tribes of Israel who did not come up with the assembly to the Lord?" For they had made a great oath concerning anyone who had not come up to the Lord at Mizpah, saying, "He shall surely be put to death." And the children of Israel grieved for Benjamin their brother, and said, "One tribe is cut off from Israel today. What shall we do for wives for those who remain? Since we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them any of our daughters as wives." Then they said, "What one is there of the tribes of Israel who did not come up to the Lord at Mizpah?" And look, no one had come to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For when the people were numbered indeed, not one of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead was present. So the congregation sent their 12,000 of their most valiant men, and commanded them, saying, "Go and strike the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, also the women and the children. And this is the thing that you shall do. You shall utterly destroy every male, and every woman who has known a man intimately." So they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins who had not known a man intimately, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. Then the whole congregation sent word to the children of Benjamin who were at the rock of Rimmon, and summoned them peacefully. And Benjamin returned at that time. And the men of Israel gave them the women whom they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead. But they had not enough for them. And the people grieved for Benjamin, because the Lord had made a void in the tribes of Israel. Then the elders of the congregation said, "What shall we do for wives for those who remain, since the women of Benjamin are destroyed?" And they said, "There must be an inheritance for the survivors of Benjamin, that a tribe may not be blotted out from Israel. However, we cannot give them wives from our daughters, for the children of Israel have sworn an oath, saying, 'Cursed be anyone who gives a wife to Benjamin.'" Then they said, "In fact, there is a feast of the Lord in Shiloh yearly in a place which is on the north side of Bethel, on the east side of the highway that goes up from Bethel to Shechem, and on the south side of Lebonah." Therefore they commanded the children of Benjamin, saying, "Go lie in wait in the vineyards, and watch. And just as the daughters of Shiloh come out to perform their dances, then come out from the vineyards, and every man catch a wife for himself from the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. Then it shall be, when their fathers or their brothers come to complain to us, that we will say to them, 'Be kind to them for our sake, because we did not take a wife for each man in battle, nor did you give them to them. Otherwise you would be guilty.' And the children of Benjamin did so. They took wives according to their number from those who danced, whom they carried away. And they went and returned to their inheritance, and rebuilt the cities and dwelt in them. So the children of Israel departed from there, every man to his tribe and family. They went out from there, every man to his inheritance. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes.